Good day to everyone. This is Group 3 and we are here to discuss about the very controversial issue in our Philippine history, which is all about the retraction of Rizal. As we all know, Jose Rizal is identified as a hero of the revolution for his writings that center on ending colonialism and liberating Filipino minds to contribute to creating the Filipino nation. The great volume of Rizal's life work was committed to this end, particularly the more influential ones, No Limitang Here and El Filibusterismo. His essays vilify not the Catholic religion but the friars, the main agents of injustice in the Philippine society. We have to know that he did not write against the Catholic Church or the Catholic religion. But the point in his writings are those who are abusing us, and those are the friars, who instead of praising spirituality are still being abused. So kung titingnan natin, Jose Rizal as the symbol of Filipino nationalism and sacrifice left a big controversial issue with regards to the events before his death. Of course, it is about the retraction of Rizal. So first, what is retraction? When we talk about retraction, ito yung pagbawi, paghingi ng tawad, at paghingi niya ng permiso sa simbahang Katoliko na mamatay siya bilang Katoliko.
It is understandable, therefore, that any piece of writings from Rizal that recounts everything he wrote against the friars in the Catholic Church in the Philippines could hail heavy damage to his image as a prominent Filipino revolutionary. Such documents purportedly exist, allegedly signed by Rizal a few hours before his executions. These documents refer to as the retractions declares Rizal's belief in the Catholic faith and retract everything he wrote against the church. It is not surprising, and we understand that if there's a letter or a statement from Rizal that returns all his writings against the friars and Catholic Church here in the Philippines, it will have a big impact on his image and reputations as a Filipino revolutionary. As we may know, and for your information, we also a lot of evidence that shows that Jose Rizal also become a member of Katipunan. If this can be true, it could have a serious impact on Jose Rizal's image. In my opinion, if this can be proven true, it seems difficult to call Rizal a hero because everything he say, he takes back. So, let's look at it. Did Rizal really retract? We have primary sources, Rizal retractions. This is from the document found by Manuel Garcia on May 18, 1935. Here is what he said. I declare myself a Catholic, and in these religions in which I was born and educated, I wish to live and die. I retract with all my heart whatever in my words, writing, publications, and conduct has been contrary to my character as a son of Catholic Church. I believe and I confess whatever she teaches, and I submit to whatever she demands. I abominate masonry as the enemy in which of the church, and a society prohibited by the church. The decisions perlate me as the superior ecclesiastical authority make public these spontaneous manifestations of mine in order to repair the scandal which my act may have caused, and so that God and people may pardon me.
There are four iterations of the text of this retraction. On December 30, 1896, the day of execution of Jose Rizal, the La Voz Española and Diario de Manila are the two newspaper companies, and the said text released as the first article to be written for the retraction. On February 14, 1897, after a few months that Jose Rizal was executed, the second text surfaced in Barcelona, Spain, and published in the La Juventud magazine by unknown writer, but later on revealed himself as Father Vicente Balaguer. Father Vicente Balaguer was the first man who gave evidence the retraction of Jose Rizal. However, on May 18, 1935, the original text or the primary source was only found by Father Manuel Garcia in the Archdiocesan Archives after it disappeared for 40 years from the afternoon when Rizal was shot. The Balaguer testimony. There are those who do not believe in this text, since there's only one witness to the writing of this document, and that is Jesuit friar Father Vicente Balaguer. He is one of the Jesuit priests who visited the Rizal's last hours in Fort Santiago. He also insists that he convinced Rizal to return to the Catholic faith. In fact, when there's one witness to document or even any other circumstances, it is really unbelievable because one witness is not enough. Although the retraction document was discovered in 1935, continue to doubt, particularly in the only eyewitness account of the incident written by Father Vicente Balaguer. Because Rizal suddenly woke up several times, confessed 4 times, he also attended a mass, received communion, and prayed the rosary. Only one can settle matter if there is another eyewitness account that night and that morning that can prove the retraction or the testimony of Father Balaguer. The testimony of Cuerpo de Vigilancia. On August 4, 2016, the OIC of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, Commissioner Rene R. Escalante, read a professorial chair lecture on Rizal Studies entitled Re-examining the Last 24 Hours of Rizal Using Spy Reports in the Rizal University. The documents of Cuerpo de Vigilancia is the Spanish spy which contains a report on the last hours of Rizal and found by Cuerpo de Vigilancia agent, a guard in the cell of Rizal. It is written by Federico Moreno, and what Moreno wrote came from the statement of the Cuerpo de Vigilancia. As a result, there is an additional independent eyewitness account through the research of Professor Rene R. Escalante. And as per the statement, Rizal wrote a paper he had heard the retraction. Also mentioned 2 Jesuit priests who had entered the Rizal prison. They are Father Jose Villaclara and Stanislao March. And other 2 men, Juan del Fresno, chief of the guard, and Eloy More, an adjutant of the plaza.
So let's move on in a primary source entitled Eyewitness Account of the Last Hours of Rizal. It was reported by Mr. Michael Charleston Chua entitled The Retraction ni Jose Rizal, Mga Bagong Dokumento at Pananaw from GMA News Online, and it was published on December 29, 2019. Most illustrious sir, the agent of the Cuerpo de Vigilancia stationed in Fort Santiago to report on the events during the day in prison of the accused Jose Rizal informs me on this date of the following. At 7:00 yesterday morning, Jose Rizal entered death row accompanied by his counsel, Senor Tabriel de Andrade, and the Jesuit priest Villa Clara. At the urgings of the former and the moments after entering, he was served a light breakfast. Senor Andrade left death row at 10, and Rizal spoke for a long while with the Jesuit fathers, March and Villa Clara, regarding religious matters, it seems. At 3 in the afternoon, Father March entered the chapel and Rizal handed him what he had written. Immediately, the chief of the firing squad, Senor Del Fresno, and the assistant of the plaza, Senor Maura, were informed. At 5 this morning of the 30th, the lover of Rizal arrived at the prison dressed in mourning. Only the former entered the chapel, followed by a military chaplain whose name I cannot ascertain. Donning his formal clothes and aided by a soldier of the artillery, the nuptials of Rizal and the woman who had been his lover were performed at the point of death. After embracing him, she left flooded with tears. This account corroborates the existence of the retraction document, giving it credence, meaning that this account has proved that there's a retraction document. But he said that, however, nowhere in the account was Father Balaguer mentioned, which makes the friar a mere secondary source to the writings of the document. The retraction of Rizal remains to this day a controversy. Many scholars, however, agree that the document does not tarnish the heroism of Rizal. His relevance remained solidified to the Filipinos and pushed them to continue the revolution, which eventually resulted to independence in 1898.
his Rizal connection to the Katipunan. Did you know that historians cannot deny that Jose Rizal played a major part in our country's struggles for reforms and independence? His writings were viewed as a guiding force for other patriots to rally to our country. La Liga Filipina is a secret organization that Rizal founded in the house of Ruteo and Janco in Ilaya Street, Tondo, Manila. It is derived from the word La Solidaridad and propaganda movements. Jose Rizal never became involved for the organization and activities for the Katipunan, but Katipuneros looked up to him as a leader. In fact, Rizal's name was used as a password among highest-ranking members who were called Bayani. On June 21, 1896, Dr. Pio Valenzuela and Andres Bonifacio visited in the Dapitan to inform Rizal for the plan for the Katipunan to launch a revolution. But Rizal objected Bonifacio bold projects that such a veritable suicide. Although Rizal recommended the expert military, which is Antonio Luna, for the Katipunan. Rizal stressed out for the Katipunan leaders to do everything possible to prevent premature flows of native lands. Although Valenzuela warned Rizal that the revolutions would be inevitably break out if the Katipunan would be discovered.
The retraction of Rizal and other cases. In 1901, the American managed to capture a Filipino messenger, Cecilio Sigismundo, who carried with him documents from Aguinaldo. The American then faked some documents complete with forged signature, telling Aguinaldo that some Filipino officers were sending him guerrillas with American prisoners. With the help of Spanish traitor Lazaro Segovia, the American assembled a company of pro-American Filipino soldiers, the Macabebe Scouts. These were the soldiers who penetrated the camp of Aguinaldo, disguised as soldiers of the Philippine Republic. They managed to capture Aguinaldo. With the president captured, his generals began to surrender and the republic began to fall. The document of the retraction of Jose Rizal is being hotly debated as to its authenticity. It was supposed to have been signed by Jose Rizal moments before his death. There were many witnesses, most of them Jesuits. The document only surfaced for public viewing on May 13, 1935. It was found by Father Manuel A. Garcia at the Catholic Hierarchy Archive in Manila. But the original document was never shown to public, only reproduction of it. However, Father Pio P., a Spanish Jesuit, reported that as early as 1907, the retraction of Rizal was copied verbatim and published in Spain. The reprinted in Manila, Father Garcia, who found the original document, also copied in verbatim.
In both reproductions, there were conflicting versions of the text. Add to this, the date of the signing was very clear in the original Spanish document which Rizal supposedly signed. The date was December 29, 1890. Later, another supposedly original document surfaced. It bears the date December 29, 1890. The number 0 was evidently altered to make it look like a letter C. Then, still later, another supposedly original version came up. It has the date December 29, 1896. This time, the 0 became a 6.
To this day, the retraction issue is still ringing like a wildfire in the forests of the night. Others would like to believe that the purported retraction of Rizal was invented by the friar to deflect the heroism of Rizal, which was centered on the prior abuses. Incidentally, Father P.O.P. was copied verbatim. Rizal's retraction also figured prominently during the revolution. It was him, Andres Bonifacio reported, who had intimated to Aguinaldo the cessations of agitation in exchange of pardon.
There are also not a few people who believe that the autobiography of Josephine Bracken, written on February 22, 1897, is also forged and forget badly. The documents supposedly written by Josephine herself supported the fact that they were married under the Catholic rites. But upon closer look, there is a glaring difference between the penmanship of the document and the other letters written by Josephine to Rizal. Surely, we must put the question of retraction to rest. Though Rizal is a hero, whether he retracted or not, we must investigate if he really did a turnaround. If he did not, and the documents were forgeries, then somebody has to pay for trying to deceive a nation.
Analysis of Rizal's retraction. Studying this case can result to a lot of arguments and debates whether Rizal really retracted or not. This case contains the following: 1. Rizal's retraction. 2. Eyewitnesses' accounts on the last hours of Rizal. 3. Rizal's connection to the Katipunan. And 4. Rizal's retraction and other cases. After reading and analyzing this case, we therefore stand that Dr. Jose Rizal really retracted. There are a lot of proofs that say so. The reason why we stand that Dr. Jose Rizal retracted is because there are a lot of proofs such as 1. Dr. Jose Rizal's letter to his mother on January 5, 1893. So this letter states that he went to the church every Sunday when he was in Dapitan. So this is a great proof that he became a Catholic and he's been going to the church always on Sundays. Next is the testimony of the eyewitness. Father Ballinger, who was with Rizal, presented the retraction format prepared by Father Pio Pai, the superior of the Jesuit Society of the Philippines. So he stated that on December 29, 1896, the day before Rizal's execution, he accepted and signed the document. So this is a great proof that Rizal really retracted. This document is also significant because it established the marriage between Dr. Jose Rizal and Josephine Bracken. The condition given to them for them to get married is retraction, and it also says that no retraction, no marriage. And also, Father Ballinger, who is the eyewitness, agreed that there is a retraction and marriage that happened between them. Lastly, after marriage, Dr. Jose Rizal dedicated a Catholic devotional book to his two sisters, Josefa and Trinidad, and also to his wife, Josephine. In his dedication, he stated, "To my dear and unhappy wife, Josephine." These books are proofs of Catholicism, and we can therefore conclude that Rizal really retracted. These reasons are proved and testified by documents presented and found on people, as well as statements that are testified by eyewitnesses. In this case, we can say that Rizal in the past did not fight the Catholic religion, and rather, he fought those people who abuse religion.
To conclude whether the said controversy is true or false, the important thing is Dr. Jose Rizal has made a large contribution and is considered as a largest factor why we claim our independence against Spaniards. Like Senator Jokno stated, surely whether Rizal died as a Catholic or an apostate adds or detracts nothing from his greatness as a Filipino, Catholic or Mason, Rizal is still Rizal, the hero who courted death to prove to those who deny our patriotism that we know how to die for our duty and our beliefs. Actually, kung titingnan natin, Rizal's retraction has no effect on his being a hero. Because, first of all, his actions did not affect the Filipinos to be disheartened to jumpstart the Philippine Revolution. And of course, it did not furnish the legacy of Jose Rizal as a symbol of Filipino nationalism of a modern Filipino. Nevertheless, we can consider Jose Rizal as one of the biggest personality here in our country, and syempre as a prominent face of our history, and one of our best hero. So whether he retracted or not, it will really not affect what he contributed to our Philippine history and also with our Philippine independence.
So with that, We hope you have learned something, and if you have questions, feel free to ask us, and we will try to answer them. So we hope you're doing well, and again, this is Group 3. Thank you very much.